With Manchester City on the cusp of winning the Premier League title in the fastest ever time in English top-flight history, a win against Manchester United on Saturday seals the deal. It's worth contemplating just how good this masterpiece built by Pep Guardiola is. Is this current City better than his best team at Barcelona? Stream, Man City v Man United. First up, let's define his best team at Barca. We have plenty of epic teams to choose from, but the double-winning team of 2010-11 is widely regarded as the best team he coached, and perhaps the greatest team in soccer history, as they were only denied the treble by an extra-time goal in the Spanish Cup final by Cristiano Ronaldo and Real Madrid. Barca lost 5 of their 60 games in all competitions that scored 147 goals and conceded just 36. This City are on track to break Premier League records for goals, points and wins. We're talking a young Lionel Messi up top with David Villa, Andres Iniesta, Sergio Busquets and Xavi in their prime in midfield. Dani Alves, Carlos Puyol and Gerard Piqué as solid as a rock in defense. This was a Barca team at the height of tiki-taka, as their players not only dominated the club scene but also the international stage, with 3 straight major titles in the 2008 and 2012 European Championships and then the 2010 World Cup for good measure. Therefore, it is tough to compare any team of any generation to the greatness of the team Guardiola was able to create in his third at Barca. That 2010-11 Pep's boys lost just one of their 13 games in the Champions League en route to absolutely smashing Manchester United 3-1 in the final at Wembley Stadium, as Sir Alex Ferguson looked on in wonderment. "They do mesmerise you with the way they pass it," Ferguson said. "I expected us to do better, particularly after half-time, but it wasn't to be. Great teams to go in cycles, and they're at the peak of the cycle they're in at the moment. They're the best in Europe, no question about that. In my time as a manager, I would say they're the best team we've faced. Everyone acknowledges that, and I accept that. It's not easy when you've been well beaten like that to think another way. No one has given us a hiding like that. It's a great moment for them. They deserve it because they play the right way and enjoy their football, but how long it lasts, whether they can replace that team at some point, they certainly have the right philosophy, but it's always difficult to find players like Xavi, Hernandez, Andres, Iniesta and Lionel Messi all the time. But they're enjoying the moment that they have just now. We never controlled Lionel Messi, but many people have had to say that over the years. Now, Man City do not have Lionel Messi. In Guardiola's own words, Messi is a one-off and the best player he will ever see. Messi scored 53 goals in all competitions that, with Pedro scoring 22 and Villa scoring 23. It was both an attacking powerhouse and a steady defensive unit. The balance was near perfect and orchestrated by Xavi, Busquets and Iniesta in midfield. Yet the Messi factor aside, there was also a similarity to this City side, as Guardiola ousted plenty of big names who were getting on. Thierry Henry, Rafa Marquez, Yaya Touré and Zlatan Ibrahimovic were all at least 27 years old, and many had questioned Guardiola for getting rid of them. The same can be said for the way he has handled Touré, Joe Hart, Pablo Zabaleta and Kolarov since he arrived at City, but there's a clear plan and ideology that he prefers younger players who are quicker and more flexible in terms of formations. Last it looked like his methods may not have been possible in England, but after just over 18 months in charge he is proving he can emulate what he created at Barcelona, and to a lesser extent at Bayern. This City side may not emulate Pep's Barca teams in terms of the League and European Cup double due to their 3-0 deficit from the first leg of their UCL quarter-final at Liverpool, but there are a lot of similarities. David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne and Fernandinho are in the exact same mold as Xavi, Iniesta and Busquets. The former two are perhaps having the greatest of their careers, reinvented as a deeper central midfield duo who have the freedom to attack the space which opens up between centre-backs and backs when Leroy Sane and Raheem Sterling drag defenders out wide. Up top, Sergio Aguero isn't scoring at the same rate his close friend Messi did in 2010-11, but he is still a monster when fit, and has adapted to Pep's methods. The entire back line has two, and you could argue that Ederson is an upgrade in goal over Victor Valdez, while Vincent Kompany would have surely got into that epic Barca side at his peak. At back is where both of these teams stand out. Dani Alves and Kyle Walker, Eric Abidal and Benjamin Mendy. The latter has been out for most of this with a serious knee injury, but if he had been fit, he would have added even greater balance to this City side. The ability of Walker, and back then Alves, to slot inside and almost act as an inside centre-back, a holding midfielder who could spring attacks and create overloads, is eerily similar. It's harsh to say the City side is a cheap imitation of his team at Barcelona. It's accurate to say they are from the same blueprint as the greatest team the world has ever seen. When you have spent over $400 million, it's easy to understand why Pep has built a machine at Man City, but as we saw last, he needed to clear out veterans who didn't fit into his plans and invest in young, quick, flexible players who did. City could perhaps emulate Barcelona in years to come, or even this if they turn the UCL second leg against Liverpool around, but there's no doubt that this team is up there with his greatest Barca side. That Barca team was better and their greatness has so far stood the test of time. This City side may only be truly appreciated in years to come too, but right now it feels like they're at the levels of the 2008-09 Barca side, Pep's first, which won the treble, but not far off the 2010-11 side, who will always be the benchmark. Follow at JPW_NBC Sports. Mauricio Pochettino has insisted that Toby Alderweireld's absence from the Tottenham squad of late is down to player selection, not in any personal reasons and not contract-related. The towering Belgian defender has been a rock at the back for Spurs since signing from Atletico Madrid in 2015, but this he has hardly featured. Most of that is down to a serious hamstring suffered in October, but he has recovered from the tear, and yet has not played since. Returning to fitness. Many have speculated as to why Alderweireld has been left out of the squad, and those with more mischievous thoughts have postulated that his contract situation may have something to do with it. While injured, talks of a contract extension reportedly broke down, and with his current deal expiring in the summer of 2019, questions have been asked of Pochettino, which he has deflected. "My decision is always about football," Pochettino said. "It is not personal and not because of a contract problem. I don't care about that. Always my decision is about what is best for the team and the best for the club." Instead, the Spurs manager insisted, "It is because those who have played in his place are in good form. I am so sorry because Toby was an important player for us in the last twos. Then he got the injury and players like Davinson, Sanchez, and Jan Vertonghen stepped up, and you have got to deserve to play." Pochettino then gave Alderweireld an ultimatum, saying he will play when he deserves to. "If we are happy with the players who are playing, you need to wait. That does not mean he is not going to play again. But now he needs to keep pushing and try to show me he can play better than the others." Unfortunately, while a coach can challenge a player publicly, if that's Pochettino's true feeling, then it's unlikely Alderweireld will make it back into the team unless a player in the lineup is either injured or dips in form. Tottenham has conceded 26 goals, this third fewest in the Premier League, behind the two Manchester clubs sitting in first and second place in the table, so with the way things stand, it's hard to argue with Pochettino's reasoning even if deep down fans don't believe him. Follow at _Bonfire. Paris Saint-Germain has very little to play for. They're waltzing to the League One title, already 17 points clear with 7 matches left. They're out of the Champions League, have already lifted the Coupe de la Ligue, and are into the semi-finals of the Coupe de France. So, it's understandable that occasionally they'll slip up, and they did that on Friday in predictable fashion. Saint-Étienne scored 17 minutes in after the PSG back line was beaten horribly by a simple cross. 22-year-old central defender Presnel Kimpembe picked up a pair of yellow cards in an 11-minute span before half-time, leaving PSG with 10 men. And even when down and looking to draw level, PSG was matched note for note by the home side at stage Geoffroy Guichard. The worst moment of the game came in the 76th minute as Edinson Cavani returned to his roots by missing an absolute sitter. On the break, a brilliant pass threaded Angel Di Maria through behind the Saint-Étienne defence. He laid off to Cavani streaking beside him on the 2-on-1, and Cavani had a wide-open goal to shoot at. Oh, Edinson. Never change. PSG eventually secured a draw thanks to an absolutely tragic stoppage-time own goal by Mathieu Debuchy, who appeared to suffer a glitch in the system as a cross came in from Thomas Meunier and met the head of Kylian Mbappé. His flick missed, but it clattered the chest of a frozen Debuchy, and deflected straight into the back of the net. PSG players might want to get their act together, for no other reason than the World Cup is approaching, and club form is always a major factor in determining international squads and helping players enter the competition on a roll. Follow at _Bonfire. Things are getting really heated in Lisbon. According to reports across Portugal, Sporting CP will be forced to play its B team after the first-team squad became embroiled in a feud with outspoken team president Bruno de Carvalho. Following the club's Europa League quarter-final first-leg loss to Atletico Madrid on Thursday, Carvalho roasted the squad via Facebook, putting players like Fabio Coentrão, Gelson Martins, Freddy Montero, and Bas Dost on blast for things like missing chances and getting yellow cards. It was an absolutely ruthless post, one that claimed the team wasn't focused and that the 11 players played like 9 many times. Seeing bad errors by international and experienced players adds more to the suffering of the defeat, he claimed. Needless to say, the squad didn't take kindly to being called out publicly by members of the front office. The reports state the players first hoped to confront Carvalho personally at training the next day, but he never showed. Feeling like they had to save face, the players took to Instagram on Portuguese international goalkeeper Rui Patricio's page, also posted to Coentrão's account, to make a statement saying they are united as a squad and expressed disgust with Carvalho's comments. Somos Sporting Clube de Portugal, nome de plantel, somos a informa o seguinte, suemos, lutamos e honramos sempre a camisola que vestimos. Now somos perfeitos e now acreditamos jogadores perfeitos, porque queremos sempre evoluir. Now existem jogadores não equipas perfeitas, mas quando as coisas não correm como queremos, sabemos assumir as nossas responsabilidades. Todos nós temos de fazer. Quando vencemos, empatamos ou perdemos, sim, porque no futebol estas são os resultados possíveis, a responsabilidade acute sempre de todos. Somos uma equipa. Somos grupo unido de grande clube onde respeito e acute uma das bases necessárias é essa união. Não podemos pensar apenas no you, mas temos e sempre na equipa, porque só assim poderemos vencer. No nosso clube, nas selecos nacionais que representamos, sempre demos e continuaremos a dar o nosso melhor, porque queira e acute uma constante. Somos profissionais, somos humanos. A nossa integridade e o nosso compromisso são sagrados. Fico, dedicação, devoção e glória sempre. Demos o máximo pelo Sporting Clube de Portugal, demos o máximo por nós próprios enquanto equipa, individualmente enquanto atletas. Lutamos pelo nosso clube, pelos nossos adeptos e por nós, sempre. Não há outra forma séria de estar no futebol profissional que não será esta. Por esta razão, em nome de todo o plantel do SCP, expulsamos neste texto o nosso desagrado, por ver a público as declarações de nosso presidente, após o jogo de ontem, no qual obtivemos resultado que não queríamos, a ausência de apoio, nesse momento, daquele que deveria ser o nosso líder. Apontero dado para culpabilizar o desempenho dos atletas publicamente, quando a união de grupo cheio pelo ficou conjunto, seja qual for a situação que estamos a passar, todos os assuntos resolvemos dentro do grupo. Saibamos ver que, por maiores que sejam as dificuldades, ainda há muito para disputa. Temos uma recta final em várias competições e vamos, hajar o que houver, unidos e coesos, dar o máximo pelo Sporting Clube de Portugal. Somos Sporting Clube de Portugal. A post shared by Rui Patricio at R. Patricio 1 on April 6, 2018 at 9:32 a.m. Pacific Daylight Saving Time on behalf of the SCP squad. Through this joint statement we express our disgust with our president's public statements after yesterday's game for which we did not achieve the result we desired. The statement reads, "The lack of support at this moment from the one who is supposed to be our leader, pointing the finger to publicly blame an athlete's performance when a group is ruled by its combined effort. Well, it didn't end there. Carvalho called the players spoiled boys, has to suspend every player on the first team for replying to his comments, Innocent's deleted post on his Facebook account. And according to reports, Carvalho is planning on carrying out his threat, with Sporting planning to play its reserve squad against 14th-placed Pacos Ferreira on Sunday. This is not the first time Carvalho has publicly criticized his players. Just 2 weeks ago, after former Porto striker André Silva said he didn't get along with Carvalho, the president responded by painting Silva as ungrateful. Sporting sits third in the Primeira Liga table, 5 points back of second-placed Porto and 6 behind leaders Benfica. They are just a single point above fourth-placed Braga. Follow at the _bonfire. Everton has not beaten Liverpool in a place derby since 2010. Liverpool is 16 games unbeaten versus Everton across all competitions. Sadio Mane has a goal in each of his last 2 visits to Goodison Park. Everton's run into the seems to be a formality, but for Liverpool, there's plenty to play for. Then, of course, we remember that this is a derby, so there's plenty to play for on either side. Liverpool has the opportunity to jump Manchester United into second place with a game in hand should they earn all 3 points at Goodison Park on Saturday at 7:30 am. ET. However, a lossy draw would open the door for Tottenham to pull level or even go ahead. Watch live, Everton vs Liverpool live on NBCSports.com. If you needed proof, the Reds are looking to keep the momentum rocking from the 3-0 win over Manchester City in Champions League. They are looking to push Mohamed Salah towards availability despite a groin injury before half-time of the big midweek victory. Salah needs just one more goal to become the first African to reach the 30-goal mark in the history of the Premier League, and the Reds are one of the most electric teams in the English top flight with Salah on the pitch. For Everton, their best motivation might be the long drought of victory against their Premier League neighbours. The Toffees have not downed Liverpool in Premier League play since October of 2010, a run of 14 games, while they have gone 16 across all competitions without a win. It is the longest unbeaten streak for Liverpool in club history against Everton. Injuries. Everton, probable, Gay hamstring, out, Eliakim Mangala knee, James McCarthy broken leg, Mason Holgate ankle, Jiffy Sigurdsson knee. Liverpool, questionable, Mohamed Salah groin, out, Emre Can back, Adam Lallana thigh, Joe Matip thigh, Joe Gomez ankle. What they're saying. Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp on Mohamed Salah's availability: "We've tried everything to make him available. There are 23 hours to go, so let's see what happens." Everton manager Sam Allardyce on timing of the game: "It's a good time to play a derby for us in between the 2 Champions League games for Liverpool. But Jurgen Klopp has a very strong squad and they haven't let him down all. If he changes his squad, it will still be strong and fresh. We have to stand on the front foot, be brave and be clinical if we get an opportunity." Prediction: it's a derby, and these players know what's at stake, but it's just hard to imagine that Everton can match Liverpool's motivation for a result in this match. Even with a midweek match, the Reds will keep focused and be fresh enough, and if the game is tight, Salah might be available off the bench to provide a late spark. Liverpool takes it 2-1 in a hard-fought match. Follow at the _bonfire.